Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. With the Spain news update, we'll have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press in Spain, and we'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. Before I begin, a huge thanks to all of the people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, whether it's through the super thanks option on YouTube, longer term supporters on Patreon, and the channel members of this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that support. Now, straight into the news. And according to a recent study, parts of Spain's coast are at risk of disappearing due to rising sea levels. As we can see here, check the map of beaches and coastal areas of Spain at risk of disappearing due to rising sea levels. The Spanish coastline, with its 8,000 kilometers of beaches and cliffs, is facing an imminent threat: rising sea levels, according to the recently published report Crisis at All Costs 2024 by Greenpeace. Under the current scenario of rising sea levels and pollution, it is expected that by 2030, very severe impacts will occur at 194 points along our coastal geography, where flooding could irreversibly transform the landscape as we know it. Iconic cities such as Barcelona, Vigo, and A Coruña, as well as tourist destinations like Zara de los Atunes Beach in Cádiz, Matalascañas Beach in Huelva, and Santa Pola in Alicante, among others, will be seriously affected by the rising sea levels, the intensification of extreme weather events, and mass tourism, putting the environment, local economy, and cultural heritage at risk. And if we have a look at some maps at the places most at risk due to these rising sea levels, red dots show places that will be affected by 2030, and the blue areas are places that will be completely flooded if sea levels rise by 1 meter. So for example, in Andalusia, the areas that could be most affected would be Huelva and Cádiz. In the Valencian community, we can see the areas there starting in Castellón, also in the province of Valencia, places like El Saler, Gandia, for example. In Catalonia, the Delta del Ebro area most at risk, places like Cambrils, for example. And in the north of Spain, in the region of Cantabria, plenty of places there at risk. So there we go, many parts of the Spanish coastline facing an imminent risk, according to Greenpeace and that report. Rising sea levels and the intensification of extreme weather events will put the environment, local economies, and cultural heritage at risk. Second piece of news now, and again related to the climate, and it is that heat caused 47,000 deaths in Europe in 2023, according to a study. The scorching temperatures of recent summers have severe consequences on public health. More than 47,000 people died in Europe in 2023 due to the heat, according to a study by the IS Global Institute in Barcelona, published this Monday in Nature Medicine. Predictions indicate that climate change will worsen the situation in coming years, but there is some good news. We are adapting. According to the same research, those same temperatures would have caused 80% more mortality at the beginning of this century. And here we can see a map of Europe of where those deaths occurred due to the extreme heat. The most affected places in dark red, for example, Greece, Italy also, and we can see both Spain and Portugal with high numbers too. And the final piece of news we'll look at today, and it is that Malaga and Almería are the only two provinces in Andalusia that are gaining both national and foreign residents. Looking at population growth for Andalusia in the first half of the year, which stands at 5,171 more people, two phenomena come together. Firstly, the fall in the number of people born in Spain to 7.55 million. On the 1st of July, there were 11,076 fewer than on the 1st of January. Then, in contrast, the number of people born abroad but now residing here is 16,247 more at over 1.85 million. What is happening in Andalusia is the same as in the country as a whole. The number of people born in Spain has fallen by 56,500 in the first half of this year to make 39.76 million, while the number of people born in other countries has risen by 224,364 to over 9 million. Nevertheless, there are exceptions to this general dynamic, and two of them apply to Andalusia. In two provinces, Malaga and Almería, both the number of inhabitants born in Spain and those of overseas origin are growing. So some interesting data there. Only 2 provinces in Andalusia, Malaga and Almeria, gaining inhabitants. But not only with people born in Spain, but with people from outside the country moving to those 2 locations also. So Malaga and Almeria bucking the trend as far as demographics in Andalusia is concerned. Now let's take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel recently. One here from Tony. Hi Stuart, we can get a caña and tapa for €1.50 in Santa Pola. Yeah Tony, thanks for the comment, and I must say that still is a reasonable price for those 2 things. A small glass of beer and a tapa as well. Because in many parts of the country you're paying more than that for a caña and a tapa nowadays. We saw someone the other day complaining about the price that they paid for 2 cañas in Elche, Alicante, €2.75 per caña, I think it worked out to be. So strange to see such a big difference in prices in the same province, given that Elche is in Alicante and Santa Pola is also. So not sure what's going on there, but I'd love to know what other people around Spain are paying for the same thing, a caña and a tapa. Let us know in the comment section below. One here from Michael. 2 beers in Elche for $5.50 is excellent when compared to the Republic of Ireland, also known as Rip-Off Ireland, where you can pay over €6 for a pint of beer. A coffee will cost you $3.75 or more. However, I should say that wages in the Republic of Ireland are higher than in Spain or the UK, but for tourists visiting my country, they will more than likely find that their holiday experience is expensive and poor value for money. Yeah, Michael, thanks for the comment, and that's the other side of the coin, what people are paying in the Republic of Ireland for a pint of beer nowadays, €6. Wow! To give you an idea of what you pay in Portugal for the same thing, yesterday I had a pint of beer and it set me back €3.50. So a lot cheaper than in Ireland, but as Michael points out in that comment, wages in Ireland are a lot higher than they are in both Spain and Portugal. So Irish people that come to Spain or Portugal for their holiday get good value for money, but the Portuguese and Spanish, when they go to Ireland, do not. One here from Martin. I disagree with you that beaches, lakes, mountains, etc. don't belong to anybody or belong to everybody. In my opinion, they belong or should belong to the local citizens, where everyone else is a guest and should conduct themselves as such. It is the citizens that pay for the upkeep, protection and cleanliness. That it is a source of revenue doesn't give the transients to act or think as if they own it. That goes for Spain, but also every other country. Yeah, Martin, thanks for the comment, and obviously related to something that I said in yesterday's live stream about the protest that took place in Mallorca at the weekend, when angry locals, some 300 angry locals, went to a beach on the island and reminded tourists that were there, German tourists I believe, that the beach is theirs and they want to take those beaches back. And I said that I don't agree with those protests because in my opinion the beaches don't belong to anyone and tourists have the same right as locals to use those beaches. But again, just my opinion. For some reason, the locals on that island think that they have more right to use those beaches than tourists, and I don't agree with that. Yes, I agree that tourists should respect the places that they visit and behave accordingly, and that should also go for the locals too. In fact, it's just common sense. And the whole idea that a public beach or a public space belongs to anybody in particular is absolute nonsense because it is public. But again, just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comment section below. One here from Gayal. Hi Stuart, we were wondering with my wife when you were going to do a video with Mia. It has been a while since we haven't had any news about her. Thanks. Guillermo from Montreal. Yeah, Guillermo, thanks for the comment, and I must admit that Mia has not been featuring in many videos of late. There's no real reason for that other than the fact that I forget to film her. She's always by my side, so it's not a difficult thing to do, so I'll try to remember to point the camera towards her in the next videos that I do outside. So thanks Guillermo for the comment, and thanks for watching the videos. One here from Robert. Hi Stu, love your program. We live in Ayora Valley, Campo in the Valencia region. We have Vodafone for 2 phones, happy with service, paying €45, but they are calling too frequently, trying to sell stuff. Yeah, Robert, thanks for the comment, and good to see that you are happy with the company Vodafone in Spain and the service that you receive. We saw in yesterday's live stream that Vodafone is one of the telecommunications companies in Spain that receives the most complaints. And my personal experience with Vodafone was not a positive one, but again, that was just me. And one of the big complaints that I did have with that company, like you, Robert, is that they call far too frequently. In fact, it just gets annoying after a while, and the company that I have now doesn't call me at all, so that's a pro. One here from Ray, spot on about Digi, cheap mobile and internet deal with the fastest Wi-Fi in Spain. Yeah, Ray, thanks for the comment, and that is the company that I use, Digi, and you're right, they have very, very fast, reliable internet, and for me, that's the most important thing, because when you're trying to upload large video files to the internet, you need a fast connection, and in Spain, that's what I get. Here in Portugal, it's not too bad either, but when I was in Australia, it was taking me 10 or 12 hours to upload a video. As we say in Australia, slower than a wet week, and it was a very frustrating experience, because in Madrid with Digi, I can upload that same video file in about 2 or 3 minutes, and not the 10 or 12 hours that it was taking me in Perth, Australia, thanks to my parents' internet connection. And the final comment here from Debbie, I was really hoping the Spanish women's soccer team would get the silver medal. Yeah, Debbie, thanks for the comment, and I reckon a lot of people in Spain were hoping that the women's football team would win the gold medal, given the fact that they were world champions going into the tournament, but it was not to be the case. In fact, they didn't pick up a medal at all, losing to Germany in that bronze medal match. And it all seemed to go downhill for that football team after their defeat to Brazil when they lost 4-2. And it would have been good to see a Spain-USA final, but it didn't happen, and as they say in Spanish, así es la vida. On that note, I'm going to wrap this video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.